We now present For the Record.
Just ahead, impeachment talks for a sitting Supreme Court justice get louder. A former justice weighs in.
I think that's outrageous that she was elected. She hasn't even heard a case yet.
Plus, a longtime public servant is stepping down. Are you thinking about public office?
I would never say never.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Naomi Coles. For more than a decade, Kelly Thompson has led the state public defender's office in Wisconsin, a tenure that is coming to a close after she tendered her resignation last week. The State Bar of Wisconsin calls it a real loss for the state, the public, and the legal community. Thompson joins me now. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, 12 years. Why step down now? What prompted this?
So, and I've been in the agency much longer than that, but heading the agency now for, as you mentioned, over a decade, there's never the right time. And I have told many people, if it were up to me, I could stay in this position forever. I love the work. I'm not, as people ask, burnt out or tired of it. I love my clients. I love my colleagues. I love the space that I'm able to work in. But at some point, you have to start to look ahead, and I never want to be in a position where I haven't given other people an opportunity to grow and lead. None of us are irreplaceable, and so it seemed after this budget, we had a wonderful budget. We had a very supportive governor for our budget. We had a very supportive legislature, joint finance. We had a unanimous vote. Republicans were extraordinarily positive. Democrats were extraordinarily positive. I've always said the criminal justice system should not be partisan. My issues should not be partisan or political, and I think that was really that was shown through the budget. And so when we were done, I started to think about the next budget, the next step. We have to start our budget process early because of the way that we work with the board. And I thought maybe it's time to give somebody else an opportunity to bring in change, leadership. And so I did not leave for another job opportunity. That wasn't the case. I wasn't leaving because of something, that I thought was better. And I've said every other minute I regret the decision, but ultimately I think it's the right one.
So do you have an idea of what you might want to do next? Are you going to take 6 months, a year off?
I'm not going to take any time off. That would not be a financially good idea for me.
So you do know where you're going?
I don't.
Okay.
I have to start to figure that out.
Okay.
So, this space is really important to me, so I want to continue to have a voice and to continue to do something in this area if possible, at least in some aspect. I'm not sure if it'll be career-wise or other, but I now really have to focus on that part. That is, that was a difficult decision, too, to leave without having the next thing lined up.
Sure.
It was the right decision. We've really worked hard on recruiting and retaining staff. And the last thing I want to do is say, hey, I really want you to be here, but I'm going to leave. That was never the case. So now it's time for me to start to focus on next steps.
I know everyone is asking you this question as the daughter of career politician Tommy
Yes.
Thompson. Are you thinking about public office?
I would never say never. I think that's important, but at this point, that is not the reason I left. I did not leave because I'm planning to run for office. But again, it's like anything else. I'm not ruling out anything at this point in time.
Okay. Let's talk highlights. You've led the agency for 12 years. What are you proudest of?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm always going to be proudest of the work that I've done on behalf of individual clients, and I continue to take cases, and that has been part of the reason that the timing seems right now. I spend most of my time up in Green Bay and Shawano, in Brown County and Shawano County, because there are so many cases that need attention. So, and I'm going to continue to do that in some respect. But it's the individual client work. On a policy level, the fact that we have been able to really accomplish, I think, as a team. So it's never about one person. This is team. A team aspect is, as a team, we've been able, I think, to really talk with policymakers, legislators, individuals who can really make a difference in this area about the critical importance of public defense, the critical importance of indigent defense, and the critical importance of how individuals need a voice in our criminal justice system, and how our criminal justice system or our justice system really needs to be balanced with resources. It's public defenders, it's prosecutors, it's the defense attorneys, it's the judges. And it needs to be balanced, or the system is not effective. It doesn't work. And I think my hope is that I've been able to really humanize our clients. Sometimes, especially when you hear of the volume going through the justice system, people tend to forget that these are moms and dads. These are, you know, children of someone. These are aunts and uncles, sisters and brothers. These are real people that in one day you can see in the grocery store or on the streets, and that we have to recognize that we can't lose that human side of it. And in the justice system, it can be hard because, again, we just see so many people coming through. My clients struggle with so many issues. Sometimes it's just a bad decision. They made a decision that was not the one that they should have made. But so many of my clients have lived lives of trauma. They don't really live, they survive. They have significant health care issues, drug addiction issues, mental health issues. And again, it comes to survival. So I think when you are able to talk about this with other policymakers, with other people that you can influence, I think is really, it's been a privilege. And I get to work with some of the most fantastic, mission-driven people that I could ever be privileged to work with. These are public defenders across the state. They work days, nights, weekends. They are in the jails, they're in the prisons, they're talking with their clients about everything everything to do with their cases, but their lives. And I get to work beside these people, and I don't want to stop that.
Absolutely. One thing that we've talked about a lot, and something that I've worked with your office on and reporting on, is just the shortage in public defenders, an issue that you've no doubt struggled with for a lot of your tenure, or at least a significant part of your tenure leading the agency. Are we any better off right now? Are caseloads coming down?
Caseloads are not coming down, but I think what we are seeing is, because of this budget, we have real hope. And again, you know, it's the public defenders, but we work as a coalition, so it's public defenders, prosecutors, the courts, the Attorney General's office, and really the counties association, other big organizations that really see the necessity of having qualified, really zealous advocates in the criminal justice system on both the prosecution and the public defense side, or the defense side. And this budget really, I think, recognized the value. And again, it really put politics aside. And I think, you know, as we talk, especially in partisan, you know, a lot of partisan politics today, that was set aside in our budget, and we were able to increase salaries for attorneys. And again, it's the same, public defenders and prosecutors are the same, so that makes it, you know, a balanced system. We raised the starting salary for new public defenders and prosecutors coming in. We raised the rate of private attorneys who take our conflict in our overflow cases up from, it was $40 not too long ago, it went up to $70, and then 3 months before, then COVID hit, and then up to $100. And so we're equal now with what the counties pay for cases. And that's significant. It's still below market rate, but it speaks to individuals saying, from very important, influential people, from the executive branch to the legislative branch to the courts, that we value you. We know this work is important, and so that is a really important message. And so my hope is to get individuals to continue to come in and to stay. We work really closely with the law schools, but there is a national trend, and my concern is that we don't have enough people going into what I consider public service, but mission-driven work. This is mission-driven work. You're never going to get rich. That's not going to happen. You're going to work really long hours, but you get to make such a difference in an individual's life, in a family's life, in a community. And so we need to keep talking about just how important and how valuable these individuals are that do this work. And so that's a message that can't just be from me, that has to be from so many people, and people are hearing that, which I think is really important.
Absolutely. If I could leave you with one question, or wrap this up with one
Sure.
question, what would be the advice that you would leave your successor?
Continue to talk to everyone. It starts with the client and their families. Make sure that their voices are heard when you're making decisions, policy. But talk to policy makers. Don't assume that people understand the system. You need to continue to work with people. There is no one group that you shouldn't be working with. There are people that may not agree with you, and I'm okay with people not agreeing with you as long as we can come to the table and have those differences. But this is a conversation that can't just stay in the legal field. These are people's constitutional rights. These are people's liberty interests. These are people's due process rights. These are important to every single person. And so we have to talk about that. Wisconsin has a reputation nationally of really coming together on justice, public defense, indigent defense issues, and we need to continue to raise that bar. So we need to look for partners that we wouldn't necessarily consider partners. We work with the Badger Institute out of Milwaukee that deal with a lot of policy issues, and they have taken this issue and run with it because this impacts all of us. It impacts all of us. And at the end of the day, most important, my clients that are sitting in jails, sitting in cages in prisons are real people, and we can never, ever lose sight of that, and we have to keep talking about that. That's so, so important. So it is, again, continuing those conversations, reach out to everyone.
Absolutely. Kelly Thompson, thank you so much for joining this show.
I really appreciate it, Nima. Thank you.
Your last day?
October 9th.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
This portion of News 3 Now is sponsored by Madison Gas and Electric.
Hello, I'm Tommy Van Ness from the Tommy Van Ness Realty Group. The Tommy Van Ness team has a real passion for real estate and would love to work with you on buying and selling your house. We are a multi-award-winning team with over $500 million in sales.
Our strong work ethic and negotiation skills will help guide you through the buying or selling process. If you're considering buying or selling in 2023, now is the time.
Why settle for less? Call Tommy Van Ness.
At Gruber Law Offices, you pay us nothing until we win your case. We don't get paid until after you get paid. It costs you nothing to get the help you need after a serious accident. The call, free. The consultation, free. Our team can answer your questions and handle your concerns for free. Let our team get you the results and compensation you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is the all-new Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattress, and it's designed to help you feel cool. So no more sweating all night, no kicking off the covers, or blasting the air conditioning. Because only the Tempur-Pedic Breeze is made with our one-of-a-kind cooling technology that pulls heat away from your body, so the mattress feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long.
Save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets and get a $300 gift. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right Tempur-Pedic.
Just where do you two think you're going without your safety gear?
You know how we feel about riding without your gear.
Well, it's so nice out.
We're only going for a short ride.
Maybe we should listen to them more often.
I told you so.
And be home on time for dinner!
Welcome back. A state Supreme Court justice has never been impeached in Wisconsin, and only once has a judge in the state ever faced an impeachment trial. That was back in the 1850s. By the way, he was acquitted. Today, as newly elected Justice Janet Protasiewicz faces controversy for her campaign statements about redistricting, Republican leadership in the legislature, they are not ruling out an impeachment trial. Now, joining me to discuss over the phone, former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice and current Marquette Law School professor Janine Geske. Janine, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's start by talking about what does Wisconsin's Constitution say about impeaching a Supreme Court justice?
Well, the Constitution allows the impeachment of a justice or a judge basically for criminal misconduct fraudulent, misdemeanors, felonies. So serious offenses, the legislature can go ahead and impeach. People ought to understand that impeaching means charging somebody with misconduct. Then there's ultimately a vote as to whether to convict someone or not. And so these two stages are going to be, I think, particularly important in this case.
So let's put some context here. Senate Leader Devin LeMahieu, a Republican, he told CBS 58 this week he's not ruling out impeachment. Talk to me about just how unprecedented that would be if he, as a Senate leader, were to go forward with some kind of trial.
Well, there are a couple of things. First of all, they are, in my view, the legislature is threatening a Supreme Court justice. If she does not do certain things, they're going to vote to impeach her. They are not indicating they're going to impeach her for something she's done in the past. It's really trying to get her to conform to behavior. But, you know, if they would wait until the decision's made, and if she decides not to recuse herself, I don't think it meets the standard, but they could go ahead and impeach her. If they were successful at the charges, the impeachment stage, she can no longer act as a justice until there's a vote in terms of whether there's a conviction or not. And even if she's acquitted, then she could return to her responsibilities as a justice. If she's convicted, she can be removed. But the worrisome here is that it's being used as a mechanism to just get her off of certain cases, particularly the case involving the maps.
Now, you have been a justice. You were appointed by Republicans. You served back in the 1990s. I do want to talk about, Justice Protasewicz statements themselves. You know, she called the maps rigged. Do you think those kinds of statements were appropriate from a justice campaigning for this, technically a nonpartisan role?
Well, I have two answers. I don't like it when judicial candidates are talking about potential issues that may come in front of the court. But the United States Supreme Court, in a case called Minnesota versus White, says that a judicial candidate can offer their opinions on issues as long as they do not commit on how they're going to vote on the case. And it's interesting, the Minnesota case involved the Republicans making the claim that First Amendment protect judicial candidates. And I think her comments are clearly within the purview of that with United States Supreme Court. So I don't think that there's a valid argument that she did anything wrong. In fact, I think she's protected by the First Amendment.
So there's a difference, though, between doing something wrong and doing something that perhaps is not best practice. Do you think that's best practice for justices be making those kinds of statements?
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I believe that in our very divided society and our very partisan society, this is what's happening to our courts. And there's more and more of people sort of staking their ground either on the right or the left or with a political party. And I don't personally like it. I like courts to be independent. You know, when the old days, when I ran, we tried to get Republicans and Democrats, prosecutors and defense lawyers, insurance lawyers and plaintiffs lawyers all on our campaigns. But now the campaigns have really become divided. And, I think it's a natural outcome of it. I don't like it, but I do believe it's protected by the U.S. Supreme Court decision.
Is there any questions that you think this whole conversation around impeachment is missing? Anything that we've missed?
No, except that I think it is outrageous that the Wisconsin legislature is thinking and is now voicing threats to just recently elected Supreme Court justice, that if she doesn't do something, they're going to proceed with impeachment and try to get her removed. I think that's outrageous that she was elected. She hasn't even heard a case yet. So, I don't understand it. I understand politically why they're doing it, but I think it's a terrible thing for democracy.
Justice Geske, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We will be right back.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit MGE2050.com.
Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. so the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up US Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
At Informed Choice Insurance Agency, we're proud of our 5-star reviews.
My agent Matthew explained everything about Medicare and the needed supplemental insurance. He took the time to show me several different plans and the plus and minuses of each policy.
Andrea was amazing, from her knowledge to her presentation to her skills in navigating complicated and intimidating waters. I cannot emphasize enough how much she helped me and my family.
Need help with your Medicare or Marketplace health plans? Get 5-star service at Informed Choice Insurance Agency.
Elevate your savings at the Century House. Right now, buy stressless recliners, sofas, and office chairs and earn up to $1,500 credit toward the purchase of additional stressless furniture. Or receive $400 off the purchase of any stressless signature base or cross-base recliner and ottoman. Don't wait. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit mge2050.com.
Welcome back. People on Medicare will be able to negotiate for lower prices on a list of 10 drugs, including diabetes and stroke medication and a cancer drug. Now, the federal government announced that last week. It's a move pushed by Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. She spoke to political reporter Will Keneally this week to explain what this means for people on those medications.
Medicare is announcing that it is able to now negotiate for the price of 10 different drugs. And kind of curious to get a sense of how new is this, that Medicare can now negotiate the price for some of these prescription drugs?
You know, for years, Medicare had been banned from negotiating with the big pharmaceutical companies for lower prices. And I was fighting for a long time to give them the right to do this, to bring down prices. We have way too many folks who have to choose between paying the rent, food on the table, or being able to afford their life-saving prescription medications. And it should not be that way. In Wisconsin alone, I think 20% of seniors on Medicare have reported that they've put off or rationed medication because of the cost. And that should not be the way it is. So now they have just announced the first 10 medications that Medicare is going to start negotiating to lower the prices of. And that is going to save people, it's going to provide them with better health, but it's also going to save out-of-pocket costs for them and lower the federal deficit.
So we've seen some of this negotiation happen previously with like insulin, for example, and some of these, the cost of these drugs is staggering, especially for some of these cancer drugs. And we'll have a full list up online at channel3000.com. But do you have a sense of dollars and cents wise, how much of an impact this will make on the bottom line for some of our Wisconsin seniors here?
Well, I can tell you that depending on what prescription somebody is on, the out-of-pocket costs can be anywhere, up to tens of thousands of dollars. And, it is out of reach for many. In the process of coming up with the first 10 medications that Medicare is going to negotiate to lower the prices of, I was urging the administration to pick those that are most costly for Wisconsin seniors, but also particular medications that fight cancer that people who have diabetes and other chronic conditions are on, and that will make the biggest difference in the lives of Wisconsin seniors. Now, this won't be the last round. There'll be more medications that will be placed on the list for negotiation as time moves on. But many of the drugs that I urged them to consider including on that first list of 10 were.
I was going to say, thank you for running through that list. Do you have a sense of where we'll go from here, any other drugs that might appear on this list? And then do you have a sense of whether this will affect prescription costs for younger people like me, old soul at heart, but people who might not be on Medicare?
So I believe that the results of these negotiations will have a ripple effect throughout all age groups. Obviously, Medicare is predominantly a program for seniors and those with certain chronic conditions or disabilities, and yet there's always a close relationship between what Medicare pays and what the private insurance sector is willing to reimburse. And so I do believe that this will have a ripple impact for others who are not on Medicare.
Senator Tammy Baldwin, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that was Will Keneally and U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. We will be right back.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Here's your parachute.
Packed it myself.
Certain it's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you for imprint certain?
Certainty matters, like the certainty of congratulating coworkers or saying thank you for being a customer with promotional products from 4imprint. Our expert team is dedicated to making your satisfaction a certainty.
Packed it myself.
Land the perfect products at 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Hello, I'm Tommy Van Ness from the Tommy Van Ness Realty Group. For over a decade, thousands of people have turned to Tommy Van Ness Realty to buy or sell their home. Because we are more than your realtor, we're your partner.
If you list with us and take advantage of our extensive marketing, everyone will know your home is for sale.
The Tommy Van Ness Realty team is working hard for you. Call Tommy Van Ness today at 608-395-7375. Why settle for less? Call Tommy Van Ness.
Help us pack the truck to kick off Coats for Kids.
September 11th, News 3 Now is collecting kid-size winter coats at Clinky Cleaners on Monona Drive.
Stop by with a coat to keep kids warm this winter.
Pack the truck for Coats for Kids.
Welcome back. Stay tuned tomorrow for a big update on an investigation we have been covering involving a Madison Baptist pastor now charged with first-degree child sexual assault. We are digging into a police investigation from 2 years ago, trying to figure out why it went nowhere at the time. Now that's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. To recap all these For the Record conversations, head online to channel3000.com. Thank you as always for watching For the Record. I'm Naomi Coles. Enjoy your week.
This has been For the Record.